What is up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Live Blocks presented by Scores and Odds. If you haven't checked it out already, just making bad life choices, going over to scoresandodds.com where you got picks from me, Meansy, Daniel, all the greats. Plus, you get access to our nice little prop shopping tool where you can see exactly what we have projected for each individual prop, plus where the best line's at, and most importantly, you get access to Grant's Action Lounge. What is Grant's Action Lounge? Well, it's my Discord where I'm throwing in all my picks each and every day. Just go to scoresandodds.com/Discord so you can get in there before the lines end up moving. We got a decent amount of bets today. Let's see. Probably need to throw this one in there. Yeah, just been gambling all day. Had a rough week last week, which was going to happen after a 2-week-long heater. It just happens sometimes, but don't worry, we're still crushing it. Let's get right into this. Starting off, Capella over 10.5 rebounds, -109 over at Caesars. The line's just a little bit too low. Obviously, Gobert could be in, could be out. I think regardless, Clint Capella should play enough minutes. If Gobert's out, that's going to increase his rebounding numbers. If Gobert's in, that's going to increase his minutes. Overall, this is probably too low of a line. Tyus Jones over 15.5 points, and I took his alt over on his PRA. That's points, rebounds, assists. Over 29.5 plus 170. I don't mind the regular points, rebounds, assist line. And most other sites, let's go and see what that's currently sitting at. I think it was 25.5, 26.5. Yeah, 26.5. -122 or -125. Juice is starting to go up a little bit, but overall he's performed very, very well in recent games without Ja Morant. I think hit the over of this, crushed the over in this in 2 out of the last 3, hit 30 plus in 2 out of the last 3. Should hit the over in this spot. This number is just a bit too low. Jaylen Brown, under 25.5 points. You know, I'm going to pull up his game log here because it's very interesting. He's been hitting this over at a decent clip. There's a 12.5 point spread in this game. Very good likelihood of a blowout in this spot here. But so we look at the games where he's hit the over: 30 in an overtime game, 29 over double overtime game, 32 overtime game. Outside of that, he's hit the over just once, I guess twice. Forgot about this Philly game since the All-Star break. Again, huge chance of a blowout, decent chance it doesn't even end up playing in the fourth quarter here. This line's just a tad bit too high. And then over on the other side, we have Kevin Porter Jr. under 16.5 points, -108 at FanDuel. Gives a tough matchup going up against Marcus Smart. Huge possibility of a blowout. He's only hit the over once out of the 4 or 5 games he's been back from injury. Again, tough matchup, big chance of a blowout. Easy under at 16.5. It was at 14.5, I think, the other day. Of course, I hit the over and he hit by the hook. But at this number, he's only hit the over once in his last 5 games or whatever it is since coming back from injuries. Sabonis over 18.5 points. Another game log I'm going to pull up here. Hit this the other night. Did not go well. Had a rough game. Still think, did they end up winning? Yeah, they still ended up winning. But only shot 10 times. Ended up with 17 points, so he came close. Needed one more shot. Gosh darn it. Why am I getting so many calls? But outside of this, he's hit the over in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. Missed it, then hit the over in the game before that. They've been on a tear recently. They've been doing really well. High-scoring games almost every single night. 242 total, I believe, in this Milwaukee game. Just a 2.5 point spread, I want to say. Numbers just too low at 18.5. I'm rolling with the over. Killian Hayes, over 29.5 points, rebounds, assists. I have a decent amount of bets from this game. Hayes over. I took his alt over at Betfred plus 160. His normal over is at 26.5, 27.5, I want to say, depending on the site. 25.5 or 26.5. I'd take the over on both those. Whether you want to take it at BetMGM, 25.5 -125. Probably a better line than 26.5 -111. Again, I rolled with his alt over. No one is in this lineup that can really score outside of Hayes and Livers. Magruder kind of can. Wiseman, decent on offense. But Killian Hayes is going to take up a massive amount of the usage in this spot here. He's getting, without Ivy on the floor, without Cade Cunningham on the floor, which has been on there for a while, he's been eating up a ton of potential assists every single game. A lot of usage coming off of 35 points, rebounds, assists in the last game versus this Indy team. Again, 2.5 point spread here. Should stay close. They only have 10 players available, and A lot of them are not good. Hayes should end up with a decent amount of usage here, should end up with a lot of minutes, should crush this line. And then Livers, kind of the same thing. 20 shot attempts in the last game without some guys in there. Even more guys out now. Easy over. I rolled with his alt over at 14.5. His regular over, I think, his thing at 13.5 with points. Let's see. Yeah, 13.5 minus 120 over at MGM. I rolled the over 14.5, which is 15 plus over at Betfred plus 120. 18 plus 230 at Betfred, 20 plus 400 at Betfred. You'll get similar lines over at FanDuel. Not quite as good. I think it's plus 200 and plus 350 for those. Or they don't have an 18 plus line, but I think the 20 plus line is plus 350. Don't mind that either. He's going to crush in the spot. We haven't projected for 20 points here. I feel like that may be off. I feel like they're probably going to adjust that a little bit. But regardless, it's too low of a line for this matchup and the lack of bodies in there. He's going over, in my opinion. Bam Adebayo, under 8.5 rebounds. He's hit this under in like every single game but one. It's coming back to the All-Star break. Averaging about 6 boards per game since the All-Star break. We haven't projected at 6.4. I don't know what's going on. I don't understand this, but it's just a trend, and projections are confirming it. So I'm rolling with the under in this spot here on Bam going up against Utah. Again, I don't understand what's going on. Decent chance of a blowout. Just go with the under. Derek White, under 15.5 points, minus 120 at Betway/DK. Again, great matchup going up against Houston, but really good chance of a blowout here. 12.5 point spread. Houston has no reason to lose anymore because they're pretty much locked in, but no real reason to win. I think that Boston just crushes them. I'm rolling with the under. Josh Okogie, over 18.5 points, rebounds, assists at Caesars. If you want, you can roll with the 19.5 at most other spots. At I think DK, it's plus 120 on the over. Oh, plus 115 over 19.5. I just rolled with a safer one, minus 103 at Caesars, 18.5. This line should be at 19.5 and shouldn't be at plus 115. Just a bad overall line. Rolling with it. He's been playing a decent amount of minutes without Durant. Barely missed it the other night when I had all the alt overs too, because he got 0 PRA in the last quarter. And I think the game was a blowout, so he barely even played. It was just a rough one. Torrey Craig, under 14.5 points, rebounds, assists. Doesn't do a ton while he's on the floor there. Mostly a defensive guy. 14.5, too high of a line. He's hit the under in the last 4 games, I believe. Don't expect him to hit it here in this spot going up against Golden State. Don't know how much run he's going to get. Should get around 22 minutes. What do we have projected for in terms of minutes? We haven't projected right around this line. Craig. 26 minutes. I feel like that might be a little high. But in any case, this number is just a bit too high. And then Trey Lyles, under 10.5 points. He's been crushing this line recently. But he's been hyper efficient. He's been taking more shot attempts. Don't really expect that to continue going up against a tough Milwaukee team. Rolling with the under. But that's it. That's the show. That's all we got. Be back again tomorrow. I'm out of here.